Title: Leading Lines. Module: Composition Mastery. One of the most powerful ways to guide a viewer through a photograph is by using leading lines. Unlike written stories, photographs do not unfold one sentence at a time. They communicate everything at once. Yet a well-composed image still tells the viewer where to look first, where to look next, and how to experience the scene. Leading lines are one of the photographer's most effective tools for creating that visual journey. A leading line is any line within a photograph that naturally directs the viewer's eye toward the main subject or through the composition. These lines may be obvious or subtle. They can be straight, curved, diagonal, or even implied by the arrangement of objects and shapes. In fine art figure photography, leading lines help create balance, depth, and emotional focus. They encourage the viewer to move naturally through the image rather than simply looking at it for a brief moment. Nature provides countless examples of leading lines. A winding path through a forest, the edge of a shoreline, waves flowing toward the sand, rows of trees, or the curve of a river can all guide the eye toward a figure within the landscape. Architecture offers another rich source of visual lines. Hallways, staircases, doorways, windows, bridges, and columns naturally create direction. Positioning a figure where these lines converge often produces a strong sense of structure and purpose. The human body itself also contains leading lines. An extended arm may direct attention toward the face. A bent leg can guide the eye upward through the body. The curve of the spine, the direction of gaze, or even flowing hair can become subtle visual pathways that lead the viewer through the composition. This is one reason why posing is so important. Every movement creates new visual lines. Small adjustments in posture can dramatically change how the viewer experiences the image. Diagonal lines often create a feeling of energy and movement. They add excitement and tension because they suggest direction rather than stability. Horizontal lines usually communicate calmness, rest, and balance. Vertical lines often symbolize strength, confidence, or dignity. Curved lines introduce elegance, softness, and rhythm. Each type of line carries its own emotional language. One of the most beautiful techniques in fine art photography is combining natural leading lines with the curves of the human body. Imagine a model standing beside a winding river at sunset. The river gently guides the viewer's eye toward the figure, while the body's graceful posture continues that visual flow upward into the soft evening light. The photograph feels connected because every element supports the same visual journey. Leading lines also create depth. Instead of appearing flat, the image begins to feel three-dimensional. The viewer senses distance and space, making the photograph more immersive. This is especially effective when photographing figures within landscapes or architectural environments. However, not every line should lead toward the subject. Sometimes distracting lines pull the viewer's attention away from the main point of interest. A bright railing, a strong shadow, or an object cutting across the frame can unintentionally compete with the subject. Learning to recognize and eliminate these distractions is just as important as finding helpful leading lines. One useful habit is to pause before pressing the shutter and ask yourself a simple question. Where does the eye travel first? Then ask, where does it go next? If your eye wanders away from the subject without purpose, you may need to adjust your position or simplify the composition. Master photographers rarely rely on luck. They actively search for lines that strengthen their visual storytelling. Sometimes this means moving only a few steps to one side. A small change in camera position can completely transform how lines interact within the frame. As you continue developing your artistic eye, you will begin noticing leading lines everywhere. Roads, fences, tree branches, window frames, shadows, reflections, and even the human form itself become tools for directing attention. Eventually, you will stop thinking of leading lines as a compositional rule. Instead, they become part of your natural way of seeing. In fine art figure photography, composition is not about placing a subject inside a frame. It is about creating a visual journey. Leading lines are the pathways that invite the viewer to take that journey, guiding them gently from curiosity to emotion, from observation to understanding. And when those pathways are used with intention, a simple photograph becomes an unforgettable visual experience.